Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nateland podcast.
Hello, folks, and hey, Bear. I'm Nate Bargatze. Welcome to the podcast. I'm not on this podcast. I just wanted to pop on and let you guys know the theatrical release of a new movie we're going to shoot. We haven't started shooting yet. We're about to start. March 13th, 2026, The Breadwinner. Very, very fun. Very exciting. This is a big win for Nateland and the productions. If you've been following along, if you're invested in the other stuff that we're trying to do, I think this will be a giant thing. I will be gone. I think I've got to go to Europe. I'm gone for a good bit. I wasn't here for this one that you're about to watch, but it's everything's still rolling. I just wanted to let you know. I'm coming back when I can come back. Just bear with me as I get through all this schedule. We're shooting this down in Atlanta, like right outside Atlanta, the movie. So I'll be back and forth, and then I have my tour, and so I'm still doing a bunch of that. So it's going to be a crazy year, obviously. It's always been getting crazier, but we always think of you guys, and just keep plugging along with us if you don't mind. We'd love to have you. So enjoy the podcast. We have Henry Cho, Aaron Weber, Bates are here for this one. We're having some people jump in, and should be fun and funny as always. All right, I'll see you when I get back.
Hello, folks, and hey, Bear. Aaron Weber here alongside Brian Bates.
All right.
And filling in for Dusty Slay and Nate Bargatze. We needed somebody to fill two pairs of shoes. Henry Cho is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, Henry?
I'm doing great.
Being here.
Of course. Always happy to fill in for either one or both.
Or both. I mean, yeah, that's a tall task.
It's a huge task.
So Nate's been doing comedy for, I think, 22 years, and Dusty about 15.
Yeah, they're not there. They're 39, dude.
They still don't have you.
Yeah.
You're better than both of them combined.
Go get somebody here locally and bring them in here.
We needed 37 years of combined experience, and you topped that.
Yeah, so we need an open micer to join them just to
do it. Yeah.
Just to balance it out.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, man. It's been a while since you've been on. I think it's your first time in the new studio.
Oh, yeah. The only other time was early on. I mean, coming in here and y'all getting free stuff from cool places. I went, what's this? I mean, y'all were like asking me to bring waters.
Yeah.
The first time.
Snacks.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah, Henry, bring some fruit snacks by the studio.
Yeah, hey, if you want something to drink, you better bring your own. That's it. But yeah, it was at Nate's house, and we just hung out.
We still asked you to bring stuff. We were at this house.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Well, we've got a lot going on here at Nateland, as you've alluded to. I want to plug a couple things before we get rolling here. The Nashville Comedy Festival is coming up in just a week. I think next week it starts.
Yeah, starts in early April.
A bunch of shows going on, including big one for us here at Nateland. Nateland presents Good, Clean, Funny at the Ryman Auditorium. That's April 8th. It's got an amazing lineup. Ryan Hamilton, Dustin Nickerson, Derek Stroop, Lace Larrabee, Mia Jackson, Paula Kaczynski. I'm hosting it.
You're hosting, yeah.
I'm the special host. I don't know what special host means. Just the wording of that makes me laugh.
Yeah, they should have just said host, because special people are going to just curtsy laugh the whole time. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, like I won a contest to host this.
Exactly. Yeah. You collected the most box tops and you're in.
Box tops. So anyway, it's going to be at the Ryman Auditorium April 8th. Come on out. And then the other thing we want to plug, Nick Thune, who's done the podcast. You know him. He's part of the Nateland family. He has a brand new half-hour special out from Nateland called Born Young. Very funny. Go check it out on the Nateland Entertainment's YouTube. And then, as always, check out The Consumers every Tuesday. Don't make me come back there every Thursday. We are rocking and rolling here at Nateland, and today is no exception. Brian, let's get into it, man. What do you think?
You want to talk about our weekends?
Let's talk about it. Where we've been, where we're going. Let's get right into it, man.
Well, I flew 3 different airlines this weekend, Aaron. I started off on Southwest, went with Henry to Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah.
Had a great set, feeling good about myself. I said, you know what? I'm going to fly Delta to my next gig.
Just to treat yourself a little.
Exactly.
He did fly Delta.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, Henry, be honest. Do you think he did well enough to move up an airline?
No, not at all. I thought he was going to bust it, but no, we were.
You got to take the
I will tell you this. The great thing about us flying, we flew the same flight to Delta to Detroit.
You sit next to each other on
Of course,
the
he walked past me. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? I was on 30
He was
minutes.
asleep before I got on.
Yeah, I read like half a book, and then he finally came straggling on.
Group 9.
Yeah. No, but then you tell him about the last one you took.
Wow. Okay. I was good there. So then I bombed so bad that night, I flew home on Spirit.
And it was so bad that they delayed his flight.
Oh,
We were already
course.
pulling away from the gate.
And they said, Brian Bates is on.
and then he comes over and is like, we got a maintenance issue. Had to go back to the gate, sit there for an hour.
You were already on the move, and they did that.
Already pulling away
They
from the
pulled
gate.
off from the gate.
So they don't do like the checklist until they're already going to the.
It's
runway.
Spirit. They do it on the run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
no, I all that's true except
He did great shows. His
the shows were great.
His shows were great. Crowds were great. It's a lot of fun. I was, you did great, man.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Don't sound so surprised.
I am shocked.
Yeah, it's funny how you get complimented to the point where it starts to feel like an insult.
Yeah.
Like,
Man, that was really good, Brian.
yeah, the way they say it with their eyes, like, what?
Yeah.
We'll get a lot of those, Henry, we've noticed is because people that listen to the podcast regularly, they know Nate and Dusty are accomplished comedians, but then they'll go see me and Brian and they're like, oh, you actually did stand up. And they're like, yeah. They go, we'll be honest, we came in thinking this would stink.
Yeah.
But it was all right.
Yeah, you guys kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah, set the bar low.
Yeah.
You know,
That's it.
Yeah.
well, we're doing our thing out here.
You know what? I love where you guys are going, and that's the whole plan. You know,
Right,
I
right.
told you that early on.
Yeah.
You know, you go out, you work, you write, you work, you just keep plugging away, and you know, you end up headlining your own shows, and they may not be packed arenas or theaters,
Mhm.
but you're headlining, you're doing the time. And Brian and I were talking about it, you know, and I've talked to you about it too. You know, the hardest part for any of us who are clean is who goes up in front of you in a comedy club. And you and I have discussed this
Oh, yeah.
many, many times. Yeah, I get texts from you guys going, this guy in front of me.
Mhm.
And that's the hardest part of being able to get to the point where you can command and demand how the show is going to run. And I told Brian, I said, you know, I would use this as that little leverage. I don't know how much you can push it,
Mhm.
but you know, hey, you know, I'm Nateland, and you know, we do this, and
Yeah.
people come see me because of the show.
Right.
They're coming to see you because they see you here, not because
No, totally.
Not
And
because
they
you
come in with an expectation of how the show's going to go because of that.
Right,
So,
right.
So there's a little pressure to like to deliver on that expectation.
No, there is.
Yeah.
And maybe you use this as a little more leverage to wherever you're going. Say, hey,
Mhm.
you know, can I bring somebody or whatever?
But you'll get emails when Brian opens for you, like, can't believe how crude that guy was, vulgar.
Well, yeah. Well, he talks about, you know, pulling his groin. I mean, who does that? Come on.
Do you have a pull in your groin bit now?
He did.
Okay.
He used to.
Did I?
You did the act
Yeah.
out on stage too?
He did.
I do. I can't remember what the joke was.
It wasn't any good. That's why. It was. I thought he was your top 5, but it was really not. I'm kidding. Brian's hilarious, man.
Jeez.
No, here's what I was telling Amy. So I was texting my wife and I said, hey, I'm not going to be available for dinner because I'm going to go do Nateland with Brian and Aaron. And she goes, the 2 guys you told to stop their day jobs and do stand up.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. So she goes, you sure it's not a setup? I said, I don't know.
Gonna attack you in the parking lot.
Yeah, these cameras aren't rolling right now, Henry.
Oh, good.
Well, now we're here to tell you what we really want to tell
Really
you.
want to say.
Don't you think the business has changed though? Where used to be, I assume you probably had a different opener every weekend, and now, and then a few years ago, I feel like it became more accepted. Headliners started bringing, their openers.
Well, here's the thing. You know, you would book. The old stand-up world was comedy clubs. No one was doing theaters.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember in the early 90s, I got approached about doing theaters. And, you know, they would say, yeah, you know, like I'm in San Francisco. I would go to San Francisco 12 times a year. There were 6 comedy clubs. I'd go twice.
Mm-hmm.
I was up there just killing it.
Yeah.
And
Wait, different clubs in the same city?
Yeah,
That's just the
6
way it
different
worked?
ones. That's the way it was.
That's crazy.
So I'd do them twice a year. And, you know, the whole Bay Area thing. And I love golf, as you know. So, you know, I was up there playing golf. I mean, you know, 12 different trips a year.
Yeah.
So then I get approached to do a theater, and they said, if you do this theater, you can't come back for 2.5, 3 years. And I'm like, what? No way. And then, I'm going to name drop here. Jamie Foxx got approached also, and he said, man, I think I'm going to try him. You ought to do him. And I said, man, I like coming up here 6 times a year.
Yeah.
Really so he did, and that was the thing. He couldn't come back for 2 years.
Wow.
But of course, he made it work. So, but in the beginning, you just showed up at a comedy club, and they already had the MC in the middle already booked. And my personal rule was I was never going to bump somebody who already had the gig.
Right.
Because that's just, to me, that's just not the way.
And they've
you do
already
it.
mapped out their whole month and everything.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
And it was Tuesday through Sunday at this point, right?
Yes, yeah, we worked like a job. So, we were doing 9 shows.
Yeah.
Stuff
that's so
like
crazy. We're lucky to get like a 5-show weekend.
5's
now.
a big one.
That's a max, right?
If you do, well, you can do 6 or 7 if you do like, I don't know, Sunday shows or whatever. But usually if you're lucky to get a Thursday, at least I am. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, and that's like a big weekend. So to hear these 9,
I mean, there was something to Chicago Improv when they opened first up. It was so hot. We'd do 2 on Thursday, 3 Friday, 3 Saturday, and 1 Tuesday, Wednesday, and 1 Sunday. I mean, we were up there forever. But so I'd show up, and it would be whomever.
right?
And I never wanted to handcuff anybody. So I'd just say, once I got exposure and people were coming kind of to see me, I said, I think your show will go better if you work clean. I'm not saying you have to.
Right.
I'm just saying I think it will help you.
Yeah.
And so then I got to the point where I could just say, you know what, I'm bringing my own guys.
Right.
And that's what I did. And, probably been doing that over 25 years, bringing who I want. And all these guys come through.
And I appreciate it. I mean, Brian and I have been those guys. So we're very thankful that it was worked out that way.
No.
It's 3 shows.
I was so appreciative that I've really slowed my career down, trajectory
to stay as an opener. Yeah. Trust me, you're not the only one.
Mr. Fancy Pants over here shooting up the ranks, but I took it slow for you, Henry.
You are still the first one I go to.
The last 2 decades, I'm like, yep.
But you're not the only one. I mean, there's a lot of guys that still do that, and it's a process, and everybody's different. You know, my openers go way back, and a lot of them are like super famous movie stars, guys who used to open for me, and that's just the way it's supposed to be. And that's the way whatever you want to call it, the whole touring with me, how that machine's supposed to operate.
Yeah.
If it's done correctly, you're gone.
It's hard to explain for people that don't do stand-up, and it sounds like such a dumb complaint, but I hear 3 shows Friday, 3 shows Saturday. That sounds so exhausting to me. And I know if you watch stand-up, it's literally just a guy talking, or it doesn't look that tiring. But I had to bring out the sweat towel this weekend on stage. Dude, 2 shows Friday. By the end of that second show, I was like, I'm working up here.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
No, you dropped 8 pounds. But here's what I tell people who sit there, because my wife was the bitch. She was, all you do is go out there and talk for an hour.
Right.
I said, okay, I tell you what. I said, once you stand, I said, you can pace 10 feet. I'll come back in an hour. She's like, what? I go, just stand there. And she's like, what? I don't have time to do that. I go, well, just pretend, because you won't last an hour.
Yeah.
And sure enough, she's like, wow, okay. I go, now.
Just the standing alone.
That's just standing. You're not talking, breathing, thinking a million miles an hour. It's exhausting.
Brian does a lot of act outs with the stool and stuff like that.
He
so that
does.
could be very physical.
He always sits down a lot. You notice that? He's got all these bits now.
Sits down. He'll smoke a cigarette during his set in the clubs.
Yeah.
Did it this weekend.
Yeah. He was like putting his shoes on. He was like, hey, don't y'all hate it when your shoes do this? And he sat down, and it's crazy.
Well, I feel like you can identify with this, Aaron. The late show at our level is usually almost always going to be worse than the early show. So you have a great show, you feel great, you got up for it, your adrenaline comes down, then you got to go back out there again and go home like, oh.
Yeah.
Everybody still hates Late Show Friday, no matter who you are. Late Show Fridays have always been the worst, because people go to work, they go out, happy hour, whatever, they come straight to the club. They haven't been home since 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
And, and we used to do 8 and 10. So, I'm getting off stage at midnight on a Friday night.
Right.
And these people are toast. They hate you at this point.
Yeah.
So it was like you said, it was work.
Yeah. I had a late show Friday this weekend in Chicago, and I got to the point of the set where I go, hey, if you want to say hi, I'll be outside the club. And this guy in the back just goes, nobody cares. I promise you. I was like, whoa, dude. It was so mean. The rest of the crowd was like, whoa, buddy. What?
Yeah.
I was like,
now we have to go out there.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
I wasn't gonna go, but now I have to go because
yeah, exactly. I was like, man, that's wild, dude.
People always ask me about hecklers, and they think hecklers is that where someone's trying to make you look bad. It's usually a drunk person that can't shut up or thinks they're contributing
and
to the show.
trying to help.
Trying
right?
to help.
Yeah.
But you had a bona fide heckler.
That's the first time in a while I've had just a guy with just malicious intent. Nobody cares. I was like, I don't know. I've been talking about myself for a while now, and it's been going okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think some people care a little bit.
Where were you?
But it stung me, dude. Chicago.
Zanies?
At Zanies, yeah. And I bet if I talked to that guy, he'd be fine. I don't know. He just thought he'd yell it out.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Like, dang,
it's
dude.
past our bedtimes anyway.
Nobody cares, dude.
But yeah, late shows are tough. I mean, I still get, I got asked. Matter of fact, I think I'm here. I'm at Zanies in October, and I'm just doing one show Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And they said, hey, you always, do well here. Why don't we add a show Saturday? And I said, no.
Yeah.
And they're like, why not? I go, no, I'm home. I'm just going to do one,
Right.
blow in, blow out. And, I just don't do late show Fridays. I hadn't done a late show Friday in forever.
Mm-hmm.
Just not, but I don't do that many comedy clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So the handful I do, I still don't do late show Friday. I do one show Friday. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
To get to the point where you
Can
can,
do that.
yeah, you can be like,
Well,
I'll tell you how
right.
I'm doing the weekend.
Yeah. Well,
I'm like, I'll do whatever, I'll do a set at 9 a.m. in the kitchen if you want me to.
no, hey, I did that.
I know, exactly.
know?
That's what I'm saying. You've put in the years and years of doing that.
That was the thing, working. I mean, my first 2 years doing stand up, I worked 50 weeks a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just nonstop.
It's crazy.
I was out for 18 weeks,
Christmas and Thanksgiving?
the only 2 weeks off.
Wow.
Yeah. Nonstop. And I would leave town. Like I said, we're doing all week. So there's none of this back home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's no
Right.
doing this on a Monday. Are you kidding? I'm traveling.
Yeah.
So
Would you say you did 30 colleges in 30 days?
I did 32 colleges in 30 days. I did 2 daytime shows. 1988. I did a NACA conference in DC and I booked 90 colleges.
So explain how NACA works. I know people know that we do shows at colleges, but
So
NACA is like you set up a booth and audition, right? Or-
Yeah, so I was doing so you have to go back. So I started stand up in 86. Funny Bone Comedy Club chain. Jerry Kubak hired me, put me on the map, got me going immediately. So 87-ish, they started a little side deal and they were going after this college market. So they got me and Vic Henley, big comedian, used to be in New York, passed away a few years ago, to go showcase. So I said, sure, I'll go showcase. And, they're like, you may get, 5, 10, don't worry about it. And I got 90. No one has ever heard of it.
Yeah,
So I had 90.
I'm trying to think if I can name 90 colleges.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
So they said, you want to do all these? And, at this point, a lot of my mentors and heroes were like, man, you got to move to LA. You got to move to LA. And I didn't want to move to LA just to be a road comic, like a lot of guys I know did. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to do these 90 colleges and just bank it. So when I go to LA, I'll be able to stay.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And it worked out. But I did 32 shows in 30 days.
That's crazy.
It was nuts. I mean, I was telling Brian, for like 8 consecutive nights, the bathroom was to the right when I got out of the bed.
Yeah.
And I slammed my face in the wall on the 9th night. It was
Because they moved it on you.
Yeah, it was like
What percentage of those are good shows, would you say?
2. 2%. Maybe 2. That's stretching.
Yeah.
I mean, I was doing, so some of them were good. Some of them were actually set up. Then there was an event. But most of the time, man, I stood on an ottoman in the student center at Slippery Rock University.
Where's that?
SRU.
Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, I think.
Slippery Rock
Anyway,
University. That sounds like a beer.
No, that's
they'd be
Rolling
a
Rock.
16 seed if they were in the tournament.
Butler County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so Pennsylvania. So, but I'm on an ottoman, and students are walking by, okay, and I'm 26 at the time, and I'm yelling at people, "Hey, I'm up here to do a show. You mind stopping for a second?" I mean, it was brutal, man.
You're just doing it in a hallway.
I did it I did probably half a dozen in the cafeterias, standing on the table,
ambushing them with a show.
Oh yeah. People are going through line. They got their trays going through line, and I'm firing jokes at them.
But actually, stuff like that's good to hear, because sometimes I feel like a diva if I'm like, I don't know, if the mic's a little weird, I get upset. But then you hear like the shows that a lot of these guys had to do.
Are you kidding? You had a microphone? I mean, that's what we were saying. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a very small percentage were great, because they're not like college shows now where you go and it's set up and you're in an auditorium or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they put you wherever, because the entertainment committee has a budget. So, back then, they'd spend their wad on Jimmy Buffett, and then they'd have a few $100s left over. They're like, what are we going to do this on? Well, let's get that comedian we saw. And that was me.
Right.
Well, we're going to put them, I don't know, find a place, and you're just there. You're just there.
Just put them in the courtyard between classes.
I would take that. I'd be outside. I could actually do something. But it was brutal, man. Some of them were just brutal, but, got good.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to have a baptism by fire. At that point.
You go do 45, 50 minutes to nothing.
Well, I have, but just not at the college.
No, that's true. Well, you know what?
I did that at the Funny Bone last week.
That's right.
I mean, I do that all the time.
But I'm talking about no one there. There's actually people there, and you still got nothing. That's the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Not nothing. I've seen you get something.
We're joking. These jokes wouldn't be funny if you were actually bad at comedy.
No, we wouldn't have done this 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It hit a little too close to home. Aaron, do you remember that episode of Seinfeld where George's wallet was so big it was messing with his back?
Oh, yeah.
It's a classic episode. I had the same problem. I had this big, bulky wallet always in my pocket. I got sick of it. So then I went to one of those phone wallets.
Yeah.
But then my phone's all bulky.
Exactly.
And then those things start falling out. I was afraid they're going to lose it. So
and then if you lose the phone, you lose everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then I switched to Ridge Wallet.
Oh my goodness.
This is awesome. Look at this. It's so nice, convenient. You just put your cards in there. You got a place for money now, right back there.
Love that.
It's awesome. I got the titanium one. It was time for an upgrade. It's sleek, minimalist, just like myself, a game changer. Ridge wallets are extremely thin, yet can securely hold up to 12 cards plus cash without adding unnecessary bulk. Made from premium high-performance materials like carbon fiber, titanium, and stainless steel. They're built to last. And for a limited time, our listeners are getting 10% off of your entire order when you use code Nateland. That's 10% off when you use promo code Nateland at ridge.com/Nateland. It's not just about looks, though. Having a bulky old wallet really will misalign your spine and can lead to chronic back pain. A slimmer Ridge wallet fixes all of that and helps you keep your posture and keep your back pain free. Plus, every Ridge wallet comes with RFID blocking technology to protect you from digital pickpockets. How about that? Scammers can now scan your pockets and steal your credit card info wirelessly, but Ridge has you covered. So for a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at Ridge by using code Nateland at checkout. Just head to ridge.com/Nateland and use code Nateland and you're all set. After your purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. I want to say this, though. You have the best luck, I feel like, of being in a market where the baseball team is at home. I saw you went to a White Sox game this weekend.
Opening day?
Opening weekend. I didn't go the first. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, the Cubs were out of town, but I've been to a game at Wrigley.
Yeah.
But Adam, who works I'm going to give a shout out to Adam at the White Sox, who's a fan of the podcast. He hit me up and he took us out to the game. I had the best seats I've ever had.
There you go.
At a professional baseball game. Seats where a server comes to your chair, brings you whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we lived it up, dude. We watched the whole game. Got to see Mike Trout play in person. He's one of those guys that I want to see before he inevitably gets hurt this season or retires. I got to see him. He went 0 for 4, but
you got to see him.
I got to see him.
That's
I mean,
cool,
I was that close to him, dude. So great weekend, dude. You're right. I am pretty lucky about that.
I get jealous because we were in Pittsburgh and Detroit this week, both teams away. I'm in back in Detroit in 2 weeks. They're away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think they're doing it on me.
That's the first thing I do now when I get booked at a place. I'll look at whatever sports teams are there.
So you need to do it backwards like I do. Because I book my golf and then I book my shows around it.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Well, eventually I will get to. I'm at the mercy of.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in Phoenix in July. I'm in Alaska in January. I'm in the worst time of year to be somewhere. That's where I am.
Well, I've been there. Trust
totally.
me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's the goal is to go.
The goal is you look at their baseball schedules and you go, hey, I want to be in Philadelphia.
Book me in New York that weekend.
That's it.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly how you do it.
That's the dream, man. Notre Dame's playing in, North Carolina.
Right.
Book me a gig.
That's it.
That's very fun.
You want to get into these comments?
Let's get into it. The comments, as always, you want to read them, Brian, or do you want me to?
You do. I read them last week.
Comments come, as always, from Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcast reviews, and Brian Bates meet and greet at any of his shows.
Nope. Nateland at natebargatze.com.
Or if you see him in public, say it to him. First comment comes from Carrie Noyes.
Yeah, I thought it said no, yes.
No. Noyes.
Yeah.
Carrie, no, yes. It's confusing. I recently listened to the Nateland episode featuring Henry Cho. I didn't realize until I Googled him that he's the man on Designing Women who shared his bed with the sugar bakers when they went to Japan to see their mama. So funny. Nothing funnier than a voice that doesn't match the visual.
Wow. 1989.
This is a clean podcast, Henry, so I don't know what filth you were doing, but
Well, they put me in bed with him. What can I say? And Delta took up a little more room than Dixie. But so I'd been in LA about 3 months.
I was going to say, this is 89. You started stand-up in 86.
Yeah.
So by 89, you're on a huge television show.
So I moved to LA in 89 with all my college show money.
yeah.
And I don't know, one of the shows I did, Pat Sajak used to have a show. I did that, did Arsenio. And then Linda Bloodworth, the producer of Designing Women, contacted and said, hey, I wrote a role for Henry. You want to do it? I went, sure. So I did it. And it worked out great. And everybody was great. And it was fun. And she was amazing. Oh, there it is. Coming up right there.
Yeah, we got it right here. You know what? Every time I see airplane depicted on a TV show or a movie, I go, I've never seen a plane that spacious.
Yeah.
They got a lot of room.
Yeah, there was a lot. That's in Coach.
Yeah.
That's some great acting there, Henry.
Well, the good news is that is my first scene. So I knew my mark. Because here's what I didn't know. I've never acted in my life.
All right.
So we're doing they have marks on the stage for camera blocking. Well, for the live taping, they removed the marks and no one told me.
Oh, wow.
So the scene after this, I walk out and Delta and Dixie are standing there. And first, I have some line, but I just walked out and went, where'd my mark go? And the director goes, cut. And Delta's like, you really don't know? I said, I told y'all, never done it. So,
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Carrie, no, yes.
Carrie, no, yes.
Carlos Villafana. It's a great name.
Mhm.
Villafana. Just last week, my wife and I enjoyed a cruise vacation. The comedians that were part of the entertainment did PG shows early in the evening, and R-rated shows were performed later those same nights. During the PG shows, the comedians seemed to struggle in performing funny material. You guys deliver hilarious material that is clean. Is it more challenging to perform clean material as opposed to stuff that is adult?
It is 80% harder to do clean comedy.
80%.
So I get interviewed this years ago, probably 10 years at least. And the woman interviewing me says, hey, I read that it's 80% harder to do clean comedy than any other comedy. And I said, do you have the article in front of you? She goes, yeah. I go, read a little lower. She goes, oh, it says Henry Cho. And I go, I made that up like 30 years ago. And she goes, well, Bob Newhart agrees with you. And I said, well, Bob's a smart man, but I just made that number up.
Yeah.
So now it's fact, 80%.
I was about to ask you how you came up with that number.
80%. I mean, I rolled that out 30 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's somewhere it got out there. And then this woman was telling me that she heard it was 80%. And I go, yeah, because I said that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You were the primary source on that.
It is harder. And what I don't understand on these cruises, because a lot of my guys, like you guys, do some cruise ships, and they're forced to do it. They said, hey, man, they want me to do a dirty show. I go, forget that. Just do your show.
Yeah.
Just do your show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they go, really? I go, yeah, man.
You'll never notice.
Yeah, it'll be funny. So, and they go, okay. Well, I was supposed to do a dirty show. No one cares. Trust me.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Mhm.
But I don't know when this happened, when you got to do a dirty show on a cruise ship. I don't know when that happened.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, Nate said the same thing. They asked him to do that, and he just did his act for both shows.
Yeah.
Right. And then
If you're
nobody's
funny. Nobody's going to.
who's going to complain. I want to hear
Yeah.
some gross stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. Next comment comes from Clazy Bly. What's y'all's opinion on Craig Ferguson? I really enjoyed him, but he may have been like Conan ahead of his time. I don't like who he booked on his show.
Yeah, I did it like 8, 9 times.
know, that's
I don't like the people. I don't like the booker. The
Yeah.
booker was a joke.
Yeah.
He's sitting right over there.
Oh, was he were you really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Craig. So I can actually, I actually have some insight on this because Craig helped. Well, he was my executive producer on a show I sold to CBS back when he was actually on the show, and with CBS. Craig was he ahead of his time? Maybe. Conan was. No one understood Conan, and Conan came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was a big deal who was going to take over after the Tonight Show. And Conan was a writer for The Simpsons. He'd never done any of this.
He was so different from everybody else, right?
right.
My dad to this day never understood Conan. Every
Yeah.
time I'd have Conan on, my dad would walk in and go, "This guy's a nut."
Yeah.
He just wouldn't get it.
Yeah, they didn't get it. Conan was great.
My parents, sorry,
No, go ahead.
they grew up on Johnny Carson, so Letterman they never got. Just his style of humor. They're like, I don't get it.
Right. People didn't. They didn't get Letterman. They didn't watch it. So then Conan did his thing, and then Craig was in line. I mean, he was on the Late Show. He was in line. It was a Big Pants production. He was in line to take over.
Yeah.
And then when that didn't happen, it was not a good thing because he should have just stepped down an hour earlier and taken over. That was the whole deal because Craig was phenomenal. He was so quick. I thought he did great.
Mm-hmm.
Does he do just straight stand up?
Yeah, he was a straight stand up, across the pond, and then he came here, was doing stand up, and then he got on Drew Carey's sitcom
Okay.
as Drew Carey's boss, and it went from there.
Okay.
But so that's where Craig came in. Craig came from the stand up world, so him getting a talk show, getting a Late Show wasn't that big a stretch.
right.
So,
Okay.
and he was so good. So yes, Clay Z. Bly, he was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daniel Koenig. Could you win this is a good question. I'm glad Henry's here for this. Could you win the Masters if every other golfer has to tee off from the normal spot, but you got to start on the green and only had to putt? You'd have to start from the furthest possible spot on the green from the pin, but you'd only have to putt. Could you win?
I'd win by 15 shots.
You would. Yes. Yes, exactly. This becomes something resembling a good question if you're talking about me or Brian.
I don't know. I would say it comes a good question if you shot like a 90. I think you and we're not gonna.
Oh, I think the answer is no,
Yeah.
but I think it's way closer. I mean, Henry's
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah. You're gonna win easily.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think you guys could, say you 3-putt every hole. Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Wait, at the Masters? Never mind. Say
Yeah,
you
in Augusta.
5-putt every hole. I'm kidding.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, no,
Giant greens.
Hey,
with-
trust me, it's hard. I mean, I've been blessed enough to play there a few times, and it's really hard. And golf's hard, but I mean, I will tell you this: they can put balls during Augusta in a spot away from the flag that you have to make a 15-footer coming back to 2-putt,
Yeah. So,
and that's if
it's
you
just
keep
not
it on the
happening.
green.
That's
Yeah, I
just
would
not
roll it off
happening.
the green.
Yeah,
I'd be in
it's-
the sand. I'd only have my putter, and I'd be trying to get out of the sand.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be the only one. That's happened. First time I played it, one of my guys playing with, pin was front left on number 1, and he was on the back right corner.
Uh-huh.
And he looked at me. I go, super fast. The fastest putt you've ever putted in your life. He had 45 feet.
Yeah.
And he hit it and he goes, good. I go, "Yeah, that's in the bunker." He goes, "What?" And it rolled off the green into the bunker.
Wow.
He's like, yeah, tough.
Now let me ask you this, Henry, I think this might be a better question. And I've had this debate with Brian. Me and Brian playing golf. Brian plays with clubs. I just throw the ball. Instead of hitting it, I throw the golf ball. Wow. So no clubs. So we did this at a Topgolf. I threw the ball as far as I could. I can throw a golf ball 100 yards or so.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Now my arm's going to give out.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Quickly.
I think if you play golf, if you do 18 holes just throwing, I bet you can't.
What about a par 3 course?
Oh, there you go.
Me versus Brian. Brian's got any club he wants. I'm just throwing it.
Now that would be
that would be.
I think you'd probably win that.
I think you would too.
I think I would do better throwing than.
Yeah, then playing. Yes, I played with you definitely. That's
you played with both of us. We're both. I'm not any good.
That's no brainer, hands down. No, I'm kidding.
I'm talking about on a par 3 for sure.
Par 3. No, I that would be close. I think you guys should actually try to do
I think
that.
We should do it one day.
Yeah.
Just to see, because there's times where I play golf where I go, if I could throw it, I could just get it there.
Yeah, if they didn't have rules.
If the whole sport was different,
I would be really good at this game if I could change everything.
Exactly.
If this was baseball.
But it's annoying that I have the control to just I just want to toss it up there.
Oh, now you want to play basketball.
Maybe if I'm off the green, I'll just
here's the thing. So
away.
when you're chipping,
yeah,
that should be your thought. How would I just toss this up there? That should be your thought. Yep, that is it. When you're chipping,
got a lesson.
That's chipping.
That is
only chipping. But yep.
Huh.
Henry did a thing playing golf where he watched me swing and he goes, "Why don't you do this?" And I moved. I don't even remember. I moved my foot like an inch or something, and it changed everything.
And bam!
Just small little things like that.
Yep. I don't think I've ever been more nervous than when I played golf with you the first time.
Well, I was too, but he's remarkably patient.
That's what I was about to say.
Yes.
Yeah. Only in golf.
Because that's the intimidating.
Only in golf.
Not in comedy.
No, you better be funny faster.
Yeah. You better do everything faster. Get in the car.
Hey, I said 8:15. So, no, but I love golf and I love watching people play golf who want to play golf. And,
I can tell.
I play with everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, trust me, as far as guys my age who do comedy in the golf level, I'm pretty high up there. But I also play with the guys who do it for a living, and I know that I'm like y'all compared to them.
Uh-huh.
It's just a standard.
Yeah.
I mean, the gaps are so huge.
Mhm.
So, but no, I love playing golf. But I don't want you to be nervous when we play. I mean,
well, I'm not anymore because the few times we play, you've always been so nice and patient. But the first time, I was scared to death because I'm like, I already stink as a comedian. Now I'm going to get here and stink as a golfer.
yeah, and the whole time I'm going, and I told him to quit his job.
Yeah.
You didn't tell him to quit to pursue golf, though.
I didn't. No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
We were playing one time. I forgot where, maybe down in Alabama, and the cart path had a little ridge rock
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
thing, and I was right there by it, and somehow it was like a pinball machine. I hit, and it went ching, 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 ching.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That was crazy.
It was crazy. No,
How far to go?
About 5 feet.
it didn't go far, but it was really cool.
Yeah. It looked like
I
a
mean,
trick shot.
it literally was like Plinko.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Just
was-
bouncing off the
It
wall.
was great. I mean, I don't even know. It'd be hard to do even if you tried.
Yeah, yeah.
It was that cool of a shot.
It's official. I look in the mirror and I see gray hairs. I got
Mm.
gray hairs all over my head, dude. I'm
What?
getting old. It's happening. The world's collapsing around me, but I don't have to give into that, dude. And hair dye kits and all that, going to the salon, that's a hassle. It's a
Mhm.
mess.
Mhm.
This podcast is sponsored by Simpler Hair Color. Simpler Hair Color is the easiest way to eliminate grays. Modern men deserve simpler, safer ways to care for their appearance. With Simpler Hair Color, you've got gentler ingredients without the messy mixing or constant trips to the salon or the drugstore. If you're tired of conducting a science experiment every time you need to dye your grays, you gotta try Simpler Hair Color. Simpler Hair Color has a full variety of shades to match any guy's hair and beard. I tried the medium shade. It blended with my natural color perfectly. Simpler Hair Color was started by two men who appreciate better dyeing options for hair and beards. and they've imparted that vision onto this company. A simple can of Simpler Hair Color has you covered. It can provide, one can. I'm reading this wrong because it sounds too good to be true. One can of Simpler Hair Color provides as many uses as up to 4 boxes of drugstore hair dye.
What?
Too good to be true. I love that it is an all-in-one product that you can use in your hair and your beard. Say goodbye to grays the easy way with Simpler Hair Color. Head to simplerhaircolor.com/Nate and use code Nate for 10% off your order. Once again, that's simplerhaircolor.com/Nate for 10% off, and make sure you use my promo code Nate so you know we sent you. Lauren Grossman. When waiting tables, I've learned to never assume. I once took a table of middle schoolers that nobody wanted. They had never eaten out by themselves before, and each of them tipped me 50%. I'm sure their parents were ticked, but it worked out great for me. So we were talking about...
He was saying how Asians are notoriously bad tippers. And I said, you can't just judge people, Aaron.
No, it's not that we're bad tippers. We're just great at math. So we would never tip 50% because we know exactly how much to tip.
Well, I learned Aaron doesn't even like to round up.
Oh, he's not a round upper. Remember you told me that?
What are we talking?
Do you not remember you told me that?
I do remember it now. Yeah, I don't like to do that.
Yeah.
But I tip stupid at restaurant, and I learned that from you. I remember because we go to Waffle House or IHOP. You remember we went to that at Denny's? It was like during COVID, and one employee was running the whole store.
Everything.
She was the host, the server, the cook,
everything.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
And she was like, "It's going to be a minute," and you were like, "It's okay, take your time. Thank you for showing up." And then you took good care of her, and I think about that a lot. So
yeah. You got to tip them. Got to take care of them. It's like the lady we had this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
She had her
6-year-old
daughter there working at a Dave & Buster's. We went there to watch ball games after the show. It's midnight.
Yeah.
And, there's nothing she could do. And, I told Aaron, I told Brian. Brian's like, I feel sorry for the girl. I said, no, I get that. I said, but, this mom's trying. She's here working, It was crazy. Sure. And I tipped her very well.
Yeah. Do you remember, Henry, once... This probably happened more than once for you, but we were at some restaurant and our server was an Asian girl, and you asked for a water, and she was like, she didn't put ice in yours because she assumed you wouldn't want ice in your drink.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
What is that about? I'd never heard that before.
Well, yeah, there's ice in this, and it's killing me. We don't do ice.
Did you know that? I had never heard that before. That blew my mind.
Did you have y'all noticed that I never drink while I'm eating? I don't drink until I'm done.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Because it's factual. You're supposed to drink as little as possible while you're eating, so your digestive system will work. And the more you drink, the more you dilute, so it slows down the process.
Okay.
And so I don't drink till I'm finished. Now it's not like we weren't allowed as children. It's not like my dad said no, or whatever. But that just is how I do it.
But it was a cultural thing that this girl understood that I guess it's not common to have ice in your...
No. Well, you should have known that she was respecting me when she washed my feet when I came in. Kidding.
At a Waffle House.
That'd
be crazy.
Oh, Mr. Cho.
I just thought that was just like a cultural thing that I'd never heard of. It blew my mind.
Yeah. No, I've never noticed that, but you're the most hydrated man I've ever met.
Yeah.
You know what? I drink a lot of... People always say... I drink almost 2 gallons a day.
We were pulling out of the rental car place. The guy, Henry's like, hey, you got 2 bottles of water back there?
Yeah.
He's like, there's a 7-Eleven down the street.
Yeah. But I had some water in my water bottle that I have, so I just needed more.
The number one thing I impart onto people from the Henry Cho School of Comedy is fill up your backpack from the green room before you go back to the hotel.
Yeah.
I teach everybody that.
Yep.
I go, hey, open up that backpack. Let's take all these waters. They already bought it. They bought it for us. Let's get it.
That's it.
That's
it. You got to do it.
And I do. I take the Red Bulls and everything. I fill up.
I saw John Witherspoon here at Zany's take a bottle of M&Ms and just poured it into his bag before he went back to the hotel. Just took the whole thing.
Just loose ones in there?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, he's old school.
Yeah.
We didn't have backpacks.
It was like a
back then.
briefcase.
No, I mean, we used to. I remember my jean jacket. You know, I wear a lot of jean jackets. I remember having stuff in my jean jackets like that.
Yeah.
They'd had like all these candies out there and some. I remember putting peanuts, just dumping a bowl of peanuts
Filling up.
in my inside. And people go, "What are you doing?" I go, "Dude, I gotta have food later." Are you kidding?
But I've left Henry shows with cases of water in the back of the car.
Heck yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
like, yeah, they already got it.
They
all.
got
Let's
it.
Take it.
It's there. Take
Yep.
it. You driving? Yeah, take all that.
We got a flight in 6 hours. I'm like, I'm going to be up all night just down in this water.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Now, I do give the rental car guys all these waters. I'll tell them. I'll say, I got like 7 waters.
Yeah.
It's all yours.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're not the only one because that's, you know, Ron Hortman, who you guys know, he was with me. And I came back to the green room. We're getting ready to leave. Man, he's just stuffing his bag. And I go, there he goes. Learn it from Mr. Cho.
There you go.
That's right. That's it.
Yeah.
Todd Junker. Next comment. Todd Junker. Great name. The Junker family.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Mr. and Mrs. Junker. As a 23-year veteran PE teacher, I mean, a PE teacher named
He had no choice.
Mr. Junker. You have to be a PE teacher.
Yeah.
I can tell you Foursquare is alive and well in my gym. I teach kindergarten through 8th grade, and the middle schoolers are the ones who play the most.
Well, you got some heat on this.
I stand corrected. It just feels like such an old school game.
You know, I wasn't familiar with it. I somehow had not made it to Lebanon, but I learned it.
Well, yeah, because there's not 4 people there. You can't have a triangle. It doesn't work.
But I learned this last year on tour from Nate's daughter, Aaron.
Really?
Harper.
Was playing Foursquare?
Yeah.
Well, it's a version of spike ball. You know what spike ball is?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a version. I'm sorry. Spike ball is a version of Foursquare.
Mm.
I don't think. I mean, we might have had this spray painted somewhere on the asphalt at my school, but I don't ever remember playing a game of Foursquare.
Really? We used to play it all the time. You know what?
Kickball,
It's-
dodgeball.
Yeah, we play Foursquare when something, if it rained and you couldn't play somewhere else and we had to stay on the concrete or whatever.
Right.
And then, when we got older in middle school, we played Foursquare because the girls were playing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
But it's like a 2-step pickleball with your hand. That's what it is.
Okay. That's a good way of putting
So I think it's gonna, that picture. Can you see?
I don't know, but these adults.
Can people see
playing.
these? Yeah, those are grown-ups playing. So I think that's what's happening. If you can't play pickleball, you're going back to this because you only got to take like 2 steps.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we were big. You ever play wall ball?
Yeah.
Big
So that's
wall
your
ball.
generation.
Right.
Your
right.
generation, big wall ball guys.
Yeah.
which
Tennis balls against the wall.
Yeah.
And then you tag each other with the ball.
Right.
And then if you get 3 outs, you had to spread eagle on the wall.
Yeah.
And they throw it
And
at
people
you.
throw it.
Yeah. I mean, we would get hurt.
Yeah, we
playing it.
played it once on the road.
Oh, we did.
The night before the Bridgestone Arena show.
Yeah.
And after a while, we're like, maybe we shouldn't be throwing balls at Nate's head. The
Yeah,
night
it goes
before.
out there with a big shiner.
Yeah, exactly.
I was playing.
Exactly.
What were you playing?
Yeah.
So I stand corrected. I'm sorry about that. I was really trashing.
Foursquare?
Dusty said he played a lot of Foursquare growing up, and I asked if he went to school in the 30s, just because it felt like such an old game.
It is an old game. I mean, I played it, and I'm older than Dusty.
but things come back. Things come in waves.
They,
you
they
know?
do, and it's alive and well wherever this guy Junker teaches. Because I haven't seen him.
Mr. Junker.
Coach Junker.
Coach
Junker.
Coach
There it
Junk.
is. Next comment comes from Lindsay Williams. I was raised by a single mom who was a waitress at the Stardome Comedy Club. I remember getting to meet lots of comics when I was a kid, including Sinbad, Pauly Shore, Dave Coulier. Back in 93, Birmingham had a historical blizzard with over 12 inches of snow. During that storm, the comedy club caught fire. Carrot Top was supposed to be performing that weekend, and it was a really big deal because his box of props was burned up in the fire. My mom has since passed, but I always remember comedy being something that kept her happy, even though times were tough.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So the Birmingham Comedy Club, that's the only club I've worked every year for 39 years.
Wow.
And it used to be down the road. Now it's a big Stardome club.
Mhm.
I've had you guys there. And the night that it burned, Scott Thompson, I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't say his real name.
I think it's public record.
Okay,
Carrot Top.
that's
Yeah.
Carrot Top's name.
Yeah.
So Scott and I go way, 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 way back. And as a stand-up comedian, Scott got a lot of flack for being a prop guy. People made fun of him, didn't really appreciate his act, blah, blah, blah.
Was it more common back then to have props? Because it's I would say I don't know anybody like
It's never common.
it's never been common.
It's never common.
Okay. But like puppets used to be more common, that kind of stuff, right?
Ventriloquist.
Ventriloquists.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
So,
but even then there was
even that,
he took
yeah,
flack for it.
yeah, and as they should. But so he took a lot of flack.
Yeah.
So his act burns. So Scott calls me and goes, "Well, you're my friend, so I can tell you this, but man, am I going to hear it?" I go, "What?" He goes, "I'm supposed to do the Tonight Show on Tuesday, but I can't because my act burned." He goes, "How many comedians can say their act burned?" And I said, "A real comedian would never say that."
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Scott Thompson.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember. I know when that happened. I know exactly what she's talking about.
Wow.
It's great.
And it became the Stardome after it reopened after the fire.
Yeah. So insurance, blah, 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 and he opened Star. So Sinbad, he and I were doing a benefit, gosh, probably he was healthy, 100% healthy. So 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing a water initiative benefit, and we were sitting there, and somebody goes, "What's the worst place you had to stay and eat?" And I said, "Birmingham Original Comedy Club." He goes, "The hotel up on the hill?" And I go, "Yeah." And the Waffle House at the bottom? He goes, "Yeah, that's it."
Wow.
And we both just bam. Yeah.
They got
That's
a nice hotel there now.
Oh, it's
They
awesome.
put you up in that.
Yeah. But back in the day,
Uh-huh.
we were just glad to be in a hotel. We're out of the condo, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Green, have you guys ever noticed that sometimes Aaron will be defending a position or questioning an argument and will say "dude" at the end of every sentence? I am not hating on him. I love it. I've caught myself listening for it and get so excited every time he says it.
Dude.
I haven't noticed that.
Well, I haven't either, unless you're inventing a new drink game or something. So, dude. So, wait, if you defended a position or question, you'll say "dude" at the end.
Dude, come on. You know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will do that.
Yeah.
I will do
I
that.
can see you say it at the beginning,
Right. Dude.
but he says at the end.
Come on, dude.
Oh,
Like
okay.
that.
Gotcha.
Maybe I can,
Oh, okay,
I can
okay,
see it. Well,
okay.
now I'll be thinking about it. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah. Now it's stuck
For
in your
pointing
head.
that out.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking about that. This is like the guy pointed out how Dusty says all the words.
The
Yeah, he adds,
T on
he
the end of
adds
a D.
T's on the end of words. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Rebecca K. Clementson. While I don't have any desire to be a comedian, I am finding that I love to laugh and make other people smile and laugh. Is there a way to become more funny, just as a regular person in real life? I know you guys are pretty gifted as comedians, and most of your craft is putting together a clean, cohesive show on stage. But is there something that you've done or did to develop being comedic in daily life? I'll take this one, boys. Just kidding.
Well, I was going to say, did Brian write that? What?
Well, I was gonna say Rebecca.
I feel your pain. Is that what you're going to say?
No,
I was
Becca,
gonna be
let me
mean.
know.
I was going to be mean and say, "Well, you're a woman, so you got a little bit ahead of problem." But before I could even slam her, you got to slam me. So
Yeah.
Well, that's why you're here.
You got to
Yeah.
get out ahead of it.
So,
get ahead of it. That's right.
that's right. Rebecca, no, I don't think there's anything that we've done to develop in a daily life. So here's my take on this. Comedians are around 50-50. 50% of the guys are always on, never turn it off. The other 50 just kind of do comedy. It's our job. So we may notice funny things and we'll keep it to ourselves because we're going to work on it and do it later.
Mhm.
I have friends that when we go eat, they sit down and they're doing bits to the waitress, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's fine. You kind of want to go, shut up, but
Yeah.
Right.
but it's fine because that's how they are. And they're just kind of trying to do it anywhere they can.
Mhm.
So Rebecca K. Clementson, man, Dusty would have had a hard time with that. The great thing is that you like to be funny and you like to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And the other great thing is that you're not going to try this. I'm kidding, Rebecca.
Of course. Yeah. Well, just become obsessed with it. Watch a lot of comedy. There's a lot of
But
great comedy.
you tell the story when you first went and tried out very first time at the Funny Bone, right?
Yeah.
Your friend said you're not funny.
Right. They did.
So they were wrong.
I told my buddies I was going to try stand up. They're like, "You're not funny." I go, "No, but I think I can do it." They go, "Well, there is that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confidence. Yeah.
I think I can figure it out. Jesse Rothacker, longtime friend of the pod. With all your years of performing, have any of you totally blown it and completely missed the showtime?
Dusty was just saying how he almost missed one, or his opener almost missed a show in Chattanooga because he didn't realize they were in Eastern time.
How the time zone will get you.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
I've never missed a show ever. 39 years.
That's crazy.
Due to blowing it. Okay.
Yeah,
I've
right.
missed 2 in my career. One was a snowstorm in Dallas.
Okay.
Missed a flight.
We'll allow that one.
That one.
Snowstorm in the desert.
And the other one, I got sick and I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Brian missed a show with me one time.
It's the only time I've ever missed one.
Yep. So he was still working.
Yep.
Was this in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's heard the story. Like, how would you know, Aaron?
Well, when I started working with Henry, this was given as a
Exactly.
cautionary
Yeah.
tale.
Yeah.
It
I
was-
played a video.
Yeah. Watch this before.
Watch this before you agree to showing up.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Brian got caught in traffic because he was shocked there was traffic in Atlanta.
Yeah. But didn't he
On
call
a Friday night.
Didn't he call you and say, "Can I do time after you?"
Yeah,
on the
here's
show?
no. It wasn't after me.
I'm
So
just kidding.
no,
I made that.
it was Brian, Ron Hortman,
Yeah.
and myself.
Yeah.
And so he kept calling, and now he knows that before a show, the last thing you want is your openers
Right.
calling you,
Figuring out,
trying to figure out
parking
if
and all
you're
that.
getting there.
Right.
Yeah.
So he called and said, "Hey, man, there was a wreck in Chattanooga." Blah blah. I said, "Yeah, that's okay." He goes, I don't know what. I'm not sure if I'll make it." I said, "That's fine. Ron's here.
Mhm.
No big deal." And then he calls again and goes, "There's a wreck in Atlanta. I don't think I'm going to make it." We were doing 2 shows that
Yeah.
night, Lawrenceville. And he said,
Mhm.
"I'm not going to make it." He goes, "Is there any way Ron can go on first?" And I said, "No, because I hired you to go on first
Right.
and Ron to go next. And then,
Right.
so we'll just do a 2-man show if you don't get here."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, what do I do?" I said, "Well, yeah, you can help Ron sell merch and then do the late show and then do the late show.
You can clean up
You can mop
afterwards.
the bathrooms
Yeah.
if you get here on time.
Yeah. Don't forget to take waters on your way home."
Yeah.
So
Sweep up.
yeah. So he did. He showed up while Ron was on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, "Just do the second show."
Right.
And that's what we did.
That's right.
That makes sense. You already got the flow. You already got it going. Just kind of,
It's just
But-
the way the show was
yeah.
booked.
Yeah. Like you said, still had a day job.
Yeah.
I worked a half a day, took off half a day vacation at noon, hit the
Right.
road.
Which was 1:00 Atlanta time.
That's right.
Right.
Chattanooga was a wreck. Had to go around the city.
Chattanooga, sneaky, horrible traffic.
It has been.
It doesn't get talked about, but it's a nightmare getting.
It's so bad.
And you don't think about it because you're going to hit Atlanta, which is worse. But Chattanooga's terrible.
Yeah, you have like 2 windows to get through Chattanooga, and they're both early a.m.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
And if it's daylight, I don't know what it is. I always make fun of it when I'm there. It's that one curve that goes uphill,
Yes.
and I go, "Can't y'all just turn and accelerate simultaneously?" And they can't.
No, they can't.
It helps
do that.
if you have a truck driver who knows who you are and can clear traffic for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Wait.
I almost missed the show. This was awesome.
See, that's the difference between him and me. He has people helping him out.
I almost missed the show. I was doing the Comedy Catch in Chattanooga, and Jake Gullidge, brilliant entertainer. This was the first time he's ever working with me.
Yeah.
So he's never done a show, and all he'd done, he was a worship leader, but he had this whole thing he did, and his whole thing was, if Henry doesn't get here, I can only do like 20 or 25 minutes.
Mhm.
The only thing I know to do after this is like have an invitation
Right.
and bring people down front
Yeah.
Yeah.
to
Okay.
Very different
to
show.
convert them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, 24, just past Mont Eagle, stops. So everybody stopped. I get out. I go up to a trucker and I say, "Hey man, you know what's going on?" He said, "Yeah, truck flipped, both shoulders, everything. We're going to be here a long time."
Wow.
He goes, "Don't you have a show tonight?" I said, "Yeah, in Chattanooga." So I get out and start walking. People are like going, "Hey man, aren't you in Chattanooga tonight?" I said, "Yeah, I'm trying to get there." Blah blah blah. So I'm walking up and down, and I look, and luckily it hadn't gotten to the point of 24 where it's like mountainous.
Right. Right.
There was actually a median that I thought I could maneuver, and I was in my old truck, my old Tundra 2001, great truck. Anyway, I went up to like 20 cars because they're going, "What can we do?" I said, "I need these 20 cars to go as far right as you can. I'm going to go along the left shoulder guardrail and whip a Yui and try to get up and go the other way and get there. And so I put it in 4-wheel drive and I made it. And when I got to the top, hundreds of cars were honking their horn. People were screaming. And so I made it. So I called Mike Alfano on the club and I said, I made it. I'm going to cut through Jasper and get there. He goes, okay. And I got there when Jake had about 5 minutes left on stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
And y'all never met in person, have you?
Never met in person.
Wow.
And he was sweating bullets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you would
It's a
have
great
been
story.
even a little bit later, the
Yeah.
show
If I'd have spun out for a few minutes, I'd have been dead. But it was iffy. But I was doing it if I could. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Kirk White. Recently, my son and my father-in-law were playing in a 3-man scramble golf tournament when we noticed my father-in-law putting chapstick very casually on the face of his driver to reduce spin and cheat in a church tournament. We thought maybe him hearing it here that he, Mike, is a cheater would be easier than me calling him out.
That's what you're going to be known for. People who start sending all these. Can you tell my wife that I don't like?
That is so great. I didn't even know chapstick on the face of a driver to reduce spin. Aren't you trying to increase spin?
No, but here's the thing.
Okay.
If you're putting chapstick on your driver,
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of you.
That's fair.
As he puts chapstick on.
So I thought spin rate was
No, it depends. So your irons, you'd like a lot of spin because then it would go higher.
Yeah.
So it depends. If you want to if you have to launch it over trees, you want a lot of spin so it'll catch the air and go higher.
You wipe the chapstick off.
You wipe it off. And then you put Vaseline all over your ball. So to hit a driver and for it to carry further and not just kind of balloon on you, you want less spin. There's optimum spin, and all the pros have their numbers and lofts and stuff like that.
Did you see? This is slightly related. Did you see the bats that the Yankees?
We're gonna talk
used?
about it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to get into that.
All right.
Oh, Brian, you know what time it is? Spring is almost here. Are you excited?
I am excited. It is here.
It is here.
Yeah.
It's time to shake off those heavy layers, bust out the old beautiful legs. I mean, I wait all year for this, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And people wait on me, dude. They go, I wish you'd stop wearing jeans. I want to see those thighs. Whether you're on spring break, heading to a backyard barbecue, playing a round of golf, delivering a podcast read, Chubby's has the styles for any spring occasion. Taking that well-deserved spring vacation, Chubby's has the ultimate training shorts for you. Looking for something more casual and comfortable? Chubby's original shorts give you that classic feel with a modern look. And get this, they've even got everywhere shorts designed for performance and casual vibes at the same time. Listen, for a limited time, Chubby's is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code. Use code Nate at chubbysshorts.com. I have the original stretch shorts. They fit me great. 5.5-inch length. It's a little shorter than you'd think I'd be comfortable with. But once you wear them and you feel the quality, and it's a good look, dude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, the days of the long, baggy, below-the-knee shorts are over, dude.
I've noticed that even in basketball.
In the NBA.
They've gone back a little bit.
And I get all my fashion from the NBA.
Yeah.
Now, this wouldn't be a true ad read if we didn't mention Chubby's classic line swim collection. Absolute top of the men's swimwear game. Whether you're squeezing out as many beach days as possible or just swimming laps at the gym, their ultra vibrant trunks built with a quick-drying 4-way stretch fabric are the best swim trunks humankind has ever created. Anything below the waist, Chubby's is your go-to. It's my go-to. Whether you're getting dressed for your work day, a workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubby's has you covered for a limited time. Chubby's is giving our viewers 20% off your order with code Nate at chubbysshorts.com. That's code Nate at chubbysshorts.com. Support our show. Tell them we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubby's. Yeah. Next comment comes from Amy Mitchell. It's the last comment.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Houston, but made a last-minute trip to Fairbanks, Alaska to visit my best friend. We were sitting at the midnight sun game. Oh, yeah, the Midnight Sun game. When my husband texted to let me know that you had talked about it on the podcast. Interesting tidbit. The Midnight Sun has been going on for over 115 years, and Barry Bonds played in this game in 1980.
Cut off.
It cut off in the 1980s.
I think it was 83.
83.
That's so funny.
Yeah. The Midnight Sun game, that's the game they play, baseball game at midnight.
Yes.
Yeah, in Fairbanks.
Yeah, in Fairbanks, Alaska.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's June 20th this year. I guess it's probably around that time every year. And daylight.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, that's
You know,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
The old gig in Anchorage, I told y'all this. You know, we used to do it because show be over at 10 o'clock, and we'd go out and play 36 holes.
Wow.
The golf course is still open 24/7 for 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was awesome. We played nonstop.
You just play all night long.
All night long, and I always took aluminum foil, so I'd be like Elvis and black out my room because it's daylight. It's crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, the baseball game would be fun. There you go. You should make that happen
Yeah, I'd love
on
to.
your tour.
Yeah. Book me a show in Fairbanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in June.
In June.
What's a good segue? Baseball, Major League Baseball season started last week, so we're all big baseball fans. So we can talk about some baseball this week. So how many stadiums have you been to now, Aaron?
I think I've got like 10 left that I have to go to. So I'm slowly making progress. I've been to like there's only like 3 historical stadiums left, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's Fenway in Boston, Wrigley Field in Chicago, Dodger Stadium in LA. I haven't been to Dodger Stadium yet, but I've been to Fenway.
You did the other two.
I did the other
Oh,
two.
that's huge.
So
That's awesome.
I'm working through them.
That's awesome.
So there's 30 total, and there might be more soon. Who knows? We might have some expansion teams.
Yeah, you may have one down the road.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I just missed the Oakland Coliseum. I'll never get to go to. I missed that one.
You know, that's the crazy thing because I used to go to games all the time also. And there was a time I'd done them all, but most of those stadiums are non-existent now.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah.
So if I had to, people ask me, hey, have you ever been to, no, haven't been to there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've
Like
never
the
done
old
the new
Yankee
ones.
Stadium.
Yeah, I
and
did
all
that, but I've
yeah.
never been to the new ones. You know?
We were in a car recently, and he was telling me how the Dodgers always ask him to throw out first pitch. He would never do it. And I said, well, Aaron and I threw out the first pitch at the Sounds game. And he's like, well, that's what you guys should be doing.
That's true.
That would be good for y'all.
Well, I was thinking, because I was at the White Sox game, I was like, man, they should let me throw out the first pitch this weekend. And then it was Derek Rose threw out the first pitch in Chicago. So I was like, well, yeah. Well,
Yeah, okay.
You can't have 2 big stars back to back.
No.
No. Yeah.
It's overkill.
But I feel like baseball is such a great thing for comics because these games are during the day. And you just can't find no other sports playing a game at like Friday or Saturday at 1 p.m.
No,
at these places.
no.
So
And
it's just great way to kill a day, just sit and hang out.
There's a lot of comedians, even, back in the day, just always do baseball games. I always played golf, but I would occasionally, I'd take a day on the weekend because we're there all week.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, we'd go to a lot of baseball
Was
games.
it Oakland where your buddies played that joke where it was an empty stadium?
That was a football game.
Football, okay.
That was a football game where the Rams Raiders were playing, and there was no one in the upper deck. There were probably literally 4,000 people at this game.
Yeah.
And so we're all at this game, and there's one guy in the big top section of the upper deck sitting all by himself. And my buddy looks over at me and goes, hey, you see that guy up there by himself? I said, yeah. He goes, I'm going to go tell him he's in my seat. And he did. It took him the whole half a third quarter to get
walk
up
all
there.
the way around.
And he walked down, and he waved to us. We're watching. Goes down, shows the guy his ticket, and the guy just starts laughing.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
That's real commitment to a joke too.
Yeah, well, he didn't care about sports. He was just there to hang.
He's just there to hang.
He didn't know any of it. Yeah.
He's not worried about missing the game.
No, he didn't care. He didn't know who was playing.
This is the LA. Was this LA Rams?
LA
Raiders?
Rams. Yep.
When they were
Oakland
both-
Raiders.
Oh, they were Oakland at this
They were
point.
Oakland. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, this torpedo bat, I just learned about that. I thought it was a joke at first when I first
The
saw
Yankees'
it.
new bats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's legit and it's legal, at least for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
don't know.
this was the big news, I think, for baseball over the weekend is we've been playing baseball for hundreds of years. And as far as I know, nobody's thought until now to reshape the bat. So the Yankees played this weekend they're being called torpedo bats, where they've moved the thickest part of the bat to the middle. and it's subtle. It's almost like if you didn't know that's what you were looking for here,
More down the barrel.
you'd barely see it.
Mhm.
Yeah, they had these players hit with the bat. They determined which part of the bat they were actually most likely to hit the ball with, and then they moved the thickest part of the bat to that. So they look kind of silly. They look absurd, but
Judge hit 3 home runs.
that's true.
He
Judge
doesn't use it though.
Judge was
He
not
doesn't
using
use
it.
it.
Judge
Right.
is just superhuman.
Right.
But the Yankees put up 20 runs or something. So
Yeah.
they played out of their mind with these bats. So I think you're going to see a lot more teams start to do this. I love that baseball's been played forever and there's still stuff like this happen.
Right.
I think a lot of people hate this. I actually love it. I think it's awesome. I think every team should work within the confines of the rules like this. And
Well, yeah, every other sport does.
exactly.
I mean, golf
it's
uses
gamesmanship.
golf.
I didn't
uses
like it
technology.
when a few years ago, they did away with the shift rule. I mean, they made a shift rule where you can't shift.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted, even though that wasn't something I came up with, the fact they've thought about it, I wanted it to stay that way. If you can't hit it where they're not, that's
Yeah.
on you.
Yep. I mean, the shift rule should have stayed. But you know what? Then you go all the way back before designated hitter, which y'all weren't born. But
Yeah.
I was.
you know, yeah, that's right. You were. You just didn't understand.
But it's just been what 2-3 years that the DH is in the National League now.
Yeah. Which
I think more than that, but yeah.
yeah, but then and that was the craziest thing, you know, because the strategy of do you pull your pitcher or not when he's on fire,
Yeah.
but you're down 2 and he's coming up to bat.
Right.
I mean, do you leave him in or do you pull him? I mean, all these things. And who do you replace? Do you replace the center fielder now to shake up the lineup
Right.
the next time around? And you
Right.
put the relief pitcher in a different spot. And now you got a guy who hadn't been playing all day
Mhm.
in center field. And all of a sudden he's got he gives up a sacrifice fly because he's got no arm, all
Right.
these
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
All that strategy's gone.
I know.
Well, this is part of what I think baseball can mirror America in this way, where there's this tradition and then there's like a resistance to change things, but it does slowly adapt over time. I think it reflects our society in that way.
No, I agree.
If you'll let me get romantic about
No,
it. for
I
a
think it's
minute,
great.
but
And the
I
pitch-
love it.
The time clock's great. I mean,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
pitch clock that really changed baseball.
It
It
sure
did.
did, man.
it's amazing how
That
much
White
time
Sox
ago.
game was 2.5 hours.
Yeah, which
It
it
was
should be.
awesome.
It's great.
Mhm.
It's
Shortened
awesome.
it by 24 minutes in the first year, the average baseball game.
Wild.
They did the pitch clock. This was 2 years ago. The pitch clock, which is the biggest, and then the bases are bigger now. So there's more stolen bases, and that's just more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the 80s, which was my heyday of watching, Ricky Henderson was still over 100 bases a season. Vince Coleman would. Tim
Yep,
Raines
Tim
would
Raines.
get 70 or 80.
Yep.
But nowadays, stolen bases just aren't a big thing.
No, and they used to talk about it all the time. It was a topic of the day of how many stolen bases is so and so going to get.
Mm-hmm.
All this, and when that player came at the bat, they had the split screen always.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
when that all started.
Tracking it.
Yep.
My father-in-law sent me this morning. The guy who created the torpedo bats for the Yankees, his name is Aaron Leanhart. Look at this career. He got a PhD from MIT. He worked on a NASA-funded research team. He was a physics professor at Michigan for 7 years. And then at 40 years old, he said, I want a career in baseball. He left academics, started working at a community college, became a minor league coach for the Yankees, and then just worked his way up from there. And then he says, he has the idea to go, let's make the bats a different shape.
Wow.
That's
So-
just a smart guy.
So is
be a
pursue baseball. Is that playing or just coaching? Or we don't know?
coaching. I think he's at 40.
Yeah, I was going to say he should have brought that bat then. Changed
Yeah.
the game back then.
Yeah.
Another thing they've changed recently to speed up the game is the pickoff. You can't throw over there a million times.
You got
Right.
you got a limited number of moves over
Is
there.
Yeah.
it 2?
2. Yeah.
Two.
Man, see, that's crazy. So all you got to do is get 2, and then you can take a biggest lead as you want because he can't throw over there.
Yeah.
And the bases are bigger.
The bases are bigger.
God.
Yeah.
I would steal 150 bases.
Were you a good baseball player?
That's all I did.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to do. And, I was fast. I wasn't the greatest hitter.
Yeah.
But I had a great arm for a little guy.
Center field, I'm
Center
guessing?
field, left
Yeah.
field, outfield my whole life. Played shortstop early on. Outfield my whole life. And then I played shortstop early on, and then in Little League, I used to get one haircut a year.
Yeah.
So one year I would start baseball season start, my hair would be down like here.
Yeah.
And everybody called me Mowgli from Jungle Book. It was so long. So, and my second year in Little League, coach said, "Hey, you're going to have to cut your hair." And I said, "No, I'm not cutting my hair. I don't cut it until after the season every year. And I get it cut really short." That's just what I did. And so opening game, I'm not playing second base or shortstop. He's got me in right field. And his son was playing center field. Fly ball was hit. I chase it down, and I throw a guy trying to tag going to third. And then I just shove his kid to right field.
You made the coaching move.
And I stayed in center field. And I played out there the rest of my career.
You just go, I think that's evidence enough. I need to be out here in center.
I did. Because his son was standing there like this, and the ball was clearly 20 feet behind him.
Yeah.
And I ran it down backhanded and gunned the guy.
So fun. Just grabbing a kid by the shoulders. You're going over here. Yep.
No, I kind of grabbed his numbers in the back and just kind of shoved
The
him.
coach's son. It makes it even better.
Yeah, it was the coach's son.
That's awesome.
And by golly, he left him out there.
Yeah. He's like, I
Even
get
he
it.
knew.
He's
Yeah.
like, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny, man.
Yeah. Didn't you say you shagged some fly balls though?
Tim Raines, man. So I used to go down to spring training. Expos were there. Brent Smith was a pitcher, and Tim Raines and Tim Wallach, Eli Wallach. And, just one day, hey, Henry, did you play ball? Yeah, I thought we did. Yeah, I thought you did. Why don't you come on, go out and shag some flies. God, it was the coolest thing ever. So then I grabbed Tim Raines and pushed him towards center.
He never left.
Never left.
As we move into April, it's time to shake off the winter blues and get ready for a fresh start. This season, Brian, you can tackle thinning hair and hair loss with Eye Restore Elite. It's a clinical proven solution designed to help your regrow hair with 282 lasers and LEDs delivering light therapy directly to your scalp. Long gone are the days where you got to go into some facility to get this done. You can do it right in the comfort of your own home.
Changed my
Kick
life.
back, listen to the podcast, put those lasers on your head, right on your scalp, and rejuvenate those hair follicles. For a limited time only, our listeners can get $625 off the Eye Restore Elite when you use code NATE at irestoreelite.com. $625 off your Eye Restore Elite. I mean, it doesn't even sound like a real deal.
No.
That's the kind of stuff that we're offering for the listeners here with promo code NATE to get the hair regrowth device you've always been wishing for. Start feeling like yourself again. Or for you, Brian, feel like a different person. And maybe the best part about Eye Restore is they offer a 12-month money-back guarantee. You can try it risk-free. Pop it on. If you don't like it, send it back. If your hair does not make a glorious return, you'll get a full refund. No awkward questions. Just fabulous hair or your money back. So, give yourself the gift of hair confidence this spring. For a limited time only, our listeners get $625 off their Eye Restore Elite when you use code NATE at irestorelaser.com. That's $625 off your Eye Restore Elite at irestorelaser.com with promo code NATE. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Hair loss is frustrating. You don't have to fight it alone. Thanks to Eye Restore.
So there's been talk about another pretty major rule change, which I'd be for, requiring starting pitchers to go at least 6 innings unless they throw 100 pitches or give up 4 runs or more or get injured.
Okay, so there is a stipulation on earned runs. Okay.
Yeah.
That I agree with that.
When I was a kid, the starting pitcher was as big of a star as
they go 9 innings.
Yeah, everyday player. And nowadays, it's just all, again, strategy, but
they all specialize.
Yeah,
all specialized.
It's super rare for the guy who starts the game pitching to end the game pitching.
Very
super rare. Where it used to be way more common.
Oh, yeah.
But like there's a game this weekend against the Yankees where the first 3 pitches of the game were home runs. So
Really?
Yeah. It was Nestor Cortez. He was coming back to the Yankees. He was on the Yankees years ago, last year. First 3 pitches were home runs. So you're like, well, you got to be able to pull that guy if you want to, right? So there's like,
Well, it's a
what's
4
the
run.
stipulation?
4 runs. So were those,
Okay.
But those were
3 straight pitches.
Solo home runs.
Yeah.
So now he's got to throw to one more guy.
Yeah.
I guess you just serve one up.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be down 4-0. Get him out.
But they'll do this every now and then. They kind of propose these crazy rules,
Uh-huh.
and then everybody gets mad and they debate it, and then most of them don't happen. Like they did some of the golden at bat rule. Remember they were talking about like that was going to be
That's wild.
the idea being that once a game you can put anybody in to bat one time in the game.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, that's just like, what are we even doing here?
It's like a kid's.
That came after American Idol's golden ticket, right?
Probably.
That's where they got it.
Yeah, same concept.
Yeah.
Now, did I hear the Yankees just changed their rule on facial hair?
I don't know about that.
They just changed it. Yeah, where it used to be you had to have a clean shaven face.
Yes.
To play on the Yankees, it was that way forever.
And it was that way for a lot of teams.
With the Reds, too, wasn't it?
Cincinnati Reds.
Really?
Yeah, back in the Big Red Machine days.
So it was only the Yankees were the last team to hold on to it. So you'd have these guys who were famous for having a mustache or long beards, and then they'd play for the Yankees and they had to cut it all off. I think you could have a mustache still.
Yeah.
But you couldn't have anything on the chin or the side. So
Even employees, I think.
really?
I think so, yeah.
Men and women.
See, I wasn't going there.
So I was looking at greatest teams of all time. The 27 Yankees is often, that's what people refer to.
Right.
But the Big Red Machine you just referenced, pretty crazy, the lineup they had there.
Mm-hmm.
They had 3 MVPs and 3 Hall of Famers, and should have been 4 if Pete Rose had gotten in. 6 National League MVP selections during that time.
Crazy.
It's just like a murderer's row of teams. 25 Gold Gloves, 3 batting champions.
Yeah.
It was
crazy.
team.
I mean, it was.
And that was your team, right?
That was my team. I mean, just listening to the radio in my driveway back in the mid 75, 76.
Yeah.
And listening to it at night. And then when I was in high school, so Knoxville is where I'm from. Atlanta was 3 hours ish, and the old Brave Stadium, and Riverfront Park in Cincinnati was just less than 4. So in high school during baseball season, if our practice was rained out, we would find out if the Reds or Braves were playing.
Yeah.
And me and a couple other guys, we'd jump in the car and drive and watch the game and drive back.
That's awesome.
The longest I've been to Cincinnati during high school, I was probably there, 10 times probably.
Mhm.
The longest I'd ever been in Cincinnati before I started comedy was like 3 hours and 50 minutes because one game went 10 innings.
Wow.
That was it. We'd cross the river into Cincinnati,
Yeah.
go to the game, and leave. That was the only time I was over there. But I was there 10 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron, have you heard the story about him beating Johnny Bench?
No, I don't think so.
So
I met your buddy who was on these Reds teams.
Doug
And-
Flynn.
Yeah,
You met Doug Flynn, who was the utility guy. Yeah, Doug, Golden Glove winner in 1982 for the Mets. So yeah, you met him in Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
So Doug and Johnny hosted this golf tournament, and so I met Johnny Bench, and I said, "Man, when I was a kid, I was up there, and I went and got your autograph, and I gave you this picture, and it's a picture of Johnny Bench coming out. He's got his glove in one hand and his mask in the other, and he's walking. He's got his shin guards on and his chest protector
Mm-hmm.
and his white white uniform pants, and he signed his name on the pants. And I told him that he gave me an autograph, and he goes, "I remember you."
You remembered him.
He remembered me.
Apparently, there's not many Asians with a Southern accent.
Yeah, with long hair.
Yeah.
He probably thought I was a girl.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, he remembered me.
Wow.
Yeah, he goes, "I remember when you came up and got my autograph." I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, man."
Wow.
You play golf with a lot of these guys?
Yes. So I got to meet all of my heroes, most of them, Ken Griffey,
Senior or junior?
Doug Flynn. I met them both. And the coolest thing is when I met Junior, he goes, "Man, my dad loves you." And I go, "Oh, get out." And so we did a FaceTime call.
Wow.
And Ken Senior answered.
Oh, that's
And he goes,
awesome.
"Henry, man, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm here with your son." It
Yeah.
was like crazy. Joe Morgan, George Foster, Tony Perez, I met briefly, but all
Yeah,
my heroes.
Almost all these guys.
Who was
Yeah,
your
that's
favorite
great.
player growing up?
Joe Morgan, I was number 8 when I was playing. He played second
Did
base.
you do the whole batting?
I did, and no one knew what I was doing. But so I asked Ken Griffey, Mr. Griffey, when I met him, I said, hey, when you went up there, you would always, I mimicked you in the dugout dragging your feet around. And he said, you know why I did that? I said, no, why? He goes, because I let off, and Joe Morgan was second. And Joe Morgan said by the time his second time up, that back line better be gone. So he could cheat back 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah.
He goes, that's the only reason I was doing it. I was a rookie. He goes, that back line's better be gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
I said, well, heck, I wasn't doing that. I was just moving my feet like I thought you were.
Just imitating.
Right.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
Chipper Jones.
Shohei?
No.
You Chipper Jones guy?
Chipper Jones was the guy.
Yeah.
For anybody, I grew up in Alabama. The closest team is Atlanta. All the Braves games are on TBS. Chipper Jones, it was a fight every year to get number 10.
Yes.
Because of that.
Yes.
It was like even in football, you were like, I wanted 10 because of
Chipper Jones.
Yeah. Like, he was that cool.
He was good.
I tried to be a switch hitter for a while because
him?
he was a switch hitter. And then I read, like, in Sports Illustrated for Kids, I read an interview with him about how he became a switch hitter. He's like, I just decided to try to hit with I was out in the backyard trying to hit left-handed, and I'm so impatient. I was just like, this stinks. I never did it, but I tried because of him.
Because he did it.
I wanted to play third because Chipper Jones did. Like, it's hard to understate or overstate the impact that guy had on almost every decision I made as a kid.
Wow.
Was like, you want to be like Chipper Jones.
No. But I get that. I mean, you know, if you grow up a certain way and there's, you know, you got your little sports heroes. I was the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told him, I had Del Murphy poster on my wall.
Right.
Pete Rose and Dwight Gooden. I became a big Dwight Gooden fan.
Did you really?
Because when I was 14 or 15, he was a 19-year-old phenom. I'm like, this guy's not much older than I am.
Right.
And
he was unbelievable.
Yeah. For those first few years, he was the best ever.
Yeah.
Out of the gate.
Yeah. What happened?
Drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say.
You looked at me like you really didn't know. I was like, okay.
What happened to Daryl Strawberry?
They were hanging out together.
Yeah.
There's a 30 for 30, I think, about them a couple years ago.
Yeah. I've seen it. It's really good.
Yeah. So what do you think about, they tried this year in spring training, experimented with it, where you can challenge the balls and strike, and then they go to a computer to look?
Yeah, this is like a larger philosophical question about how you want sports to work. Do you think human error is part of the game? And
yes.
I tend to think that for baseball, it is part of it.
I do too.
I think that, like, a call getting slightly the great irony in all this is that the umps have never been better. If you look at, like, the statistics, like, the umps are really good, and there are a few that we know of that are bad, and there are bad calls every now and then. But for the most part, like, we're talking about a very small number of calls that they're not getting correct.
Yeah.
So it's like, do we want to just remove any human element from? Why don't we just put computer chips in the cleats and on the bases and in the ball, and just, like, do it that way? It's like, where does it stop?
Right.
If you're doing automatic balls and strikes.
No, the balls and strikes you can't argue. That's just part of the game.
Yeah.
And as we all know, you know, different umps behind the plate have their different strike zones.
Yeah.
So
there's something romantic about that.
I agree.
Yeah, it's part of baseball. I think it's just part of baseball. And yeah, they're probably doing really well getting calls right because they really have to now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some blatant calls. That World Series call, Kansas City, St. Louis.
Right.
Guys like 2 feet from touching first place, and you already see the ump.
Don Dinkinger.
Yeah. Doing that. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's been some terrible calls in history, but they are getting better. And now there's a box on the screen.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I think that.
But that shows how good they are.
For watching baseball, the strike zone on the screen and where the pitch hits, kind of like golf in the tracker.
Yeah.
It really enhances watching baseball.
Totally.
Yeah.
We were joking we had great seats to the game, but, like, the fact that I had a terrible view of the strike zone where I was watching. It's just very funny to, like, yell about balls and strikes from up there.
I know.
Right.
I know.
You can't see a thing.
Come on, Blue.
Yeah.
Can't see where the ball
No.
is, man.
That picture you have on the screen, where is that? Is that Cincinnati?
This is the old Cincinnati Red Stadium.
Yeah, that's
that
Riverfront
Astros
Stadium.
brings back so much memories
Oh, yeah.
because, again, as a kid, it was that AstroTurf was everywhere.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's all that is carpet on concrete.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
just you.
That field would get like 50 degrees over the temperature. That's probably 120 degrees right there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's so dangerous, right?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure.
so many injuries. But Concepcion playing shortstop would field a ball like where that black mark is on the screen. Yeah. He'd field one there, and then he learned how to one hop it to first base. And after it hit the ground, it would actually accelerate
because of
It'd pick
how
up speed.
hard
It would
the
pick up
turf is.
speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. One reason I read that they said pitchers, if they had to go 6 innings, another good thing is nowadays it's all about power. Everybody can throw 100 miles an hour or more. But if you had to go a certain amount, you can't do that. You got to strategize more, which I think would be better for baseball than just pure power.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree.
Yeah, these guys that come in and just empty the tank because they're only going to pitch 1 inning.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're a relief pitcher, that's fine. 9th inning, 8th inning, whatever. But if you're starting, you shouldn't be able to go out there and just give it gas for 2 innings, 3 innings.
Let me ask both of y'all right now. Right now, not you at your prime, like right now, you get 1,000 at bats in a major league game. What are you doing? Are you getting a hit? What are you getting?
Are there defense? Is there a defense out there?
You're in a game.
I'm in a game. I get 1,000 at bats.
You get 1,000 at bats from a major. Let's say an average major league.
I'm going to try to walk.
Okay, I would walk because I used to walk a ton. At 1,000, I would walk 10 times.
Yeah,
and then I would strike out the rest.
I mean, 990 times.
Yeah, at this age, right now. Yeah.
I think, these guys are so good. I think even if I just didn't swing for 1,000 at bats, I don't know how many walks I could draw.
That's what I'm saying. I think I did 10.
Yeah, you just get lucky. But
maybe get hit by a pitch.
Maybe, I mean.
Boy, I wouldn't want to do that.
God willing, I'll get hit by it.
Exactly.
But I just get. Here's like the difference is if you put us in an NBA game, I feel like give us 1,000 shots, we'll find a way to get a shot in.
But if someone's guarding us in the NBA,
yeah. But I'm saying, just exist out there on the court long enough, you can throw a shot up and get it in. I think.
Yeah. I could camp out in the corner and if they would eventually pass me the ball and there's no one, I can get it off before anyone can block it.
That's why bowling, I feel like, is the only sport where you could do the best thing. You can't bowl a perfect game, but you could roll a strike, which is the best the pros can do.
Yeah, it's like hitting a home run.
Yeah,
it's like making a birdie.
I don't think you give me 1,000 at bats. I don't know. I mean, I maybe tipped the ball once.
Yeah,
with the bat. These guys are just so good.
Oh, there's trust me.
Yeah,
it would really hard for me to stand in that batter's box with that coming in.
They throw one big hanging curve at your head. Yeah, you're done.
I remember JV baseball. A player on our team jumped out of the way from a ball, and our coach was so mad that he didn't just stand in there and take it, that the next day at practice, one by one, we just lined up, and he just threw the ball at us.
And nailed you.
Yeah, and just like, you got to learn how to just stay in the box and take it. That might
Did it work?
I don't know if it worked for me. I think I was still
still a little
scared
shy
of it, but I stood in there and took it, man. That might be old school coaching. I don't know if they're still.
It is
doing
old
stuff
school
like
coaching. I remember in middle school, I was pretty good. I could handle the bat pretty well, but everybody had to stand in the batter's box, and we practiced suicide squeezes.
Oh man,
that's where the guy's on third, he's running home, and you got to lay that. You got to lay the, and the pitcher is supposed to throw it at you if they see you do that.
Yeah.
And so our coach would throw pitches right at us, and you'd have that bat right in front of you.
Right.
And you got to get it down, or it's going to hit you in the face.
Right.
And man, so many guys got nailed, and you had to do it till you got it right. It was, that's old school pitching.
I never wore a cup in baseball.
Bragger.
No, I was
really.
I had a kid.
What position did you play?
I pitched and played third base.
Wow.
I never wore a cup because I
surprised you could have a kid.
Because Chipper Jones did.
You checked.
No, I probably should have. It was so uncomfortable to wear. And then there was this kid growing up. This story's almost been mythologized in the Montgomery, Alabama baseball community that I don't really remember what's true about it or not. But the story I remember being told was this kid caught a ground ball up into his groin, and because of the ball hit the cup and the cup didn't work, and it
Caused damage.
Significant damage. And he had to be like airlifted to a hospital or something. I don't know. I don't remember what's true. All I remember is that scared me enough that I was like, I'm just not going to wear a cup. And
it's like the person who wears the seatbelt and then they can't get out from the wreck because they're so I don't wear seatbelts.
That's a perfect analogy. It makes zero sense, but the visual of what happened to that kid stays with me to this day.
Oh, I didn't even know about it, and I can't. It's hurting me right now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't. I wore a cup when I played infield, and then once I shoved that coach's kid over, never wore one again.
Yeah,
you don't need one in the outfield.
No,
I put one out when I caught a few games. I had to wear one.
Is baseball your favorite sport?
It wasn't until like recently, last few years. I don't know, for whatever reason I picked it back up. I stopped paying attention to it, and then that's the fun thing. It's like a baseball season. This is what's fun about it. Is I feel like football that demands your attention because you got one game a week, and you got to pay attention to it. Baseball, dude, there's 162 games. You can fade out. You can not pay attention for a week because you got to live life, right? And then you get back into it. The game's still going on. That's how baseball feels as a whole to me. Like I took a couple of years off, still going on. It's the great constant in American life. You can pop back into it.
I agree. 162 games is a lot.
Yeah.
As a kid, I used to keep up with it.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's like every 2 years I go, are they any good this year?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's designed to be, I think that's a feature, not a bug.
Right.
You know?
It's a good way to look at it because with a kid now, I feel like baseball is the last sport I could keep up with because there's so many games. But to your point, just dip in and dip out.
Dude, put the game on and then wash the dishes. Like you don't have to.
That's women's work. Am I right, Henry?
Yeah. Who washes?
It's borderline. I mean, I will, if I'm at the game or if it's a big game, I will watch it very intently. But like I said, 162
But
games.
when do those games come up? World Series, playoffs.
Exactly.
So you don't have to. I agree with you. But football, that's why football is such a huge television monster.
One game a week.
One game a week, Thursday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
That's it. Those are and you have to pay attention. And you want to pay attention.
Right.
And also it's only going to go for 18 weeks.
Yeah.
You know.
And there's a ton of games being played right now as we're doing this podcast. That's what's great.
Yeah.
You know, pop it on, look at it, take it off. It's awesome, man.
So the 1981 Cincinnati Reds had the best record in the National League, didn't make the playoffs.
Nope. Yep.
Wait, what happened?
There was a strike season, shortened season, in the middle of the season, and they were in second place when the strike happened. And they were second place
on the second half.
Second half, the overall had the best record in baseball.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But since they didn't win either half, they didn't get to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
that's
was
crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that. Everybody was furious.
Yeah.
That was the Tom Seaver year, right?
Tom Seaver went 14-2. Did not win the Cy Young because they gave it to Fernando Valenzuela, who went 5-6 in the second half or something like that. Yeah, he was 8-0 and then 5-6.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I was looking up some minor league stats. Who do you think's the best? What's the best minor league baseball team name?
I'm extremely biased, but I think the Montgomery Biscuits have a heck of a case.
That's a good one.
Montgomery Biscuits. You know, Montgomery's famous for its biscuits.
I did not know that.
We're not at all.
You used to have a joke about that.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I was like, we're not known for biscuits or anything.
No,
but we had a poll. I think I remember we had a poll. The city got to vote. It came down to the Montgomery River Rats or the Montgomery Biscuits, and Biscuits won by a landslide.
Well, I'd hope
it's because
so.
because River Rats. There's all those mud.
Mudcats.
Mudcats
and everything.
is a
Yeah,
good
it
one.
feels very kind of unoriginal.
Right.
Biscuits is
That's it.
it's awesome, dude. And then the puns just got churned. I mean, biscuit season tickets, get them while they're hot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's every billboard is a biscuit pun.
Yeah.
It's pretty
hard
great.
to do that with a river rat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Huntsville's the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Yes, the Trash Pandas is always a good one.
Yeah.
That's always a good.
There's some crazy minor league names out
But
there.
that's why they do it. I mean, it you get the logos and you get the merch and people know what it is. I mean, that's
Yeah, you could just lean into the silliness of it. I think.
So the most seasons in the minors before you got called up, John Lindsay, 16 years in the minors.
Wow.
Before
Did you
finally
look up Ray Knight? Did you look up Ray Knight? Remember we talked about that?
I did not look up Ray Knight. You said he spent a way long time in the minors, right?
Ray Knight spent like 12 years in the minors because he was behind Pete Rose.
Huh.
But then I said it may have been 9, but 12 just sticks in my head. It doesn't say.
Yeah, he's the man who replaced Pete Rose at third base.
Yeah. Drafted 7th. Okay, 1970. Yeah, I think he was in there for 12 years.
Yeah.
There's another guy. So we have a friend of the podcast, Doug Bachler, who's the pitching coach for the Toledo Mud Hens.
Right.
That's a good one.
And that is a good one. The hitting coach for Toledo is the minor league's all-time home run leader.
Really?
Yeah, he's hit 433 home runs
In the minor league, 400.
Played
Really?
19 seasons.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy,
What's
isn't
his name?
it? Mike Hessman.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So all these guys, they compare to Crash Davis from Bull Durham.
Mhm.
Crash Davis was a real player, I looked up,
Okay.
that the director of the movie knew of or found and said that'd be a good baseball name.
Crash.
That is a
Davis.
great name.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's great.
What, you have a favorite baseball movie?
The Natural, probably. Robert Redford.
Oh, that's a good one.
Natural's great. I think Brian and I have the same answer here. I think Moneyball is my favorite
Yeah.
baseball movie.
Oh, yeah. Moneyball
Might even
is
be
good.
my favorite. And actually, you kind of remind me, if you watch that movie, Henry, Brad Pitt's character reminds me of you.
I get that a lot.
not
I'm kidding.
yeah. Just like the way he acts. Watch it next time and think about Henry with Brad Pitt's character.
And what's the other guys?
Jonah Hill.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of me now. Think about it.
You should remake.
You get that a
Moneyball
lot. You
with
get that a
Henry.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Moneyball. I'll
is-
watch it and see what you're saying.
Have you ever auditioned for a baseball movie?
Yeah. So they were the old Major League series.
That was my favorite movie as a kid growing up. Major
And
League.
then they already had the Asian guy in the second one. And so I didn't want to be the Asian guy. I wanted to be Wesley Snipes' character.
Because they replaced him
Yeah.
in the second one, I think.
I was trying.
Yeah.
But they didn't know, they had me over here. No, you got to go in that room.
Mm.
I'm like, I'm not going in there. And I just left.
What's a sports event, team, something that you wish they made a movie or even a documentary about?
Wow.
You ever think about that?
I think they're going to make one about torpedo bats if it keeps up.
Yeah, if it can.
Uh,
Moneyball 2 about the torpedo bats.
I watch so many sports that all the great sports moments and stuff, I think I've seen like replays of it. So it feels like it's
Yeah.
a documentary,
Yeah.
even though it's not.
Yeah, but some stuff, there's just not like great footage of it. You think about like even the Miracle hockey game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Miracle
Like
on Ice.
I've seen the movie. The movie's unbelievable.
Mhm.
Right.
The movie is how I think about that moment because I wasn't alive when it happened
Right.
in real life.
Right.
But the footage of the game stinks, dude.
Right.
Okay.
Well, you know why? No one watched it. We didn't watch it. The only reason we watched it is because people were going around telling, hey, United States may have a chance to win. We're like, what? There's no way.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden you tune in. And so whoever I saw the last, I'd probably say there was probably 8 minutes left in the game by the time I actually got to where I could watch it
Okay.
because I heard
Yeah.
as it was happening that this was happening.
Yeah.
So, there are things like that I hear you. The movie version is all you know, and it's also my generation, probably most of the people also,
Yeah.
because no one really watched it.
Yeah. And it's just if it only had the actual footage of it, it's just kind of it's like grainy, it's like one camera.
Yeah.
It's like it deserves its own.
It's like the Immaculate Reception. You don't.
Yeah.
I can only see the little grainy footage
you see
of it.
boom,
Yeah.
boom, and then you
Mhm.
see Harris going and picking it up
Mhm.
off the
Uh-huh.
ground, but there's no shot of where.
Yeah, I
Right.
want like a cinematic shot
Yeah,
of
they
it.
need to recreate that digitally. Do a little CG on it
Yeah.
because he always said I was always coached to follow the ball, so that's the
Uh-huh.
only reason I was running that way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, with AI, we'll be able to do all this.
Yeah, I'm
super
sitting here
easily.
trying to think of some. They made a movie. Dennis Quaid played the guy who became a rookie like 35 years old.
Yeah,
Right.
The Rookie.
The Rookie.
Yeah.
Which
And that's
is a great movie.
That
Yeah.
was a great movie.
great story in real life.
Yes. Yep.
They've made almost every Kurt Warner, there's a movie.
You know what's funny about The Rookie is in real life, the guy was like 35.
Yeah.
And it's like the plot is like this old man
I know.
come back and he's 35. Dennis Quaid was way older. And it's a better story when
Yeah,
he's,
he was like 50 or 40.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a
Yeah,
35-year-old. Like, that's me.
There's guys
Like,
still playing.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was telling Henry in the car this weekend, there's a documentary called The Battered Bastards of Baseball, and it is so good. It's about Kurt Russell's dad bought a minor league baseball team in Portland back in the 60s or 70s and just had open tryouts and this ragtag team of guys. It's just like, it's a documentary, but it feels like a movie. And they just did crazy stuff. It's really good.
Because that was a big thing that his son, Kurt, played baseball. And
Yeah.
now we know how. His dad had to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of country music stars that were good baseball players.
Yeah.
Who?
Charlie Pride, I think
Oh,
he
was
played
he?
maybe in the minors.
Charlie Pride was good.
Conway Twitty, I think, played.
Did he really?
Ronnie Millsap.
He was an ump.
Yeah,
Oh, what's he?
I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking. Here's some more.
Hey, I saw Ronnie last week. You can't talk about that.
I know. That Opry thing was great.
Oh, it was crazy great.
Yeah, how we didn't talk about that at all. That looked awesome. The 100th anniversary of the Opry.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You were a part of it, and
Yeah, being a member, so we did rehearsal, and I'm up there, and I see where they put our pictures in the seats where we're going to sit, and I see where I am, and I'm like, okay.
yeah.
And then they go, hey, this thing's going to happen here. So you and Amy are there. I said, all right. And I looked over, and there's like some of my pals further back, and I felt bad for like 5 seconds.
Yeah. You had a better seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went, oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, I should. Nah. Okay.
Nah.
And at the end, got to go up on stage. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
I was standing there because I was on the back in the middle, and I got to look. I had the best view of
Yeah.
everybody up there. I went, wow, this is it. This is all the members,
Mhm.
except a handful that couldn't make it.
Uh-huh.
It's really cool. It was cool.
Yeah, you were at Texas. You're on there more than Blake Shelton, who hosted it.
Yeah.
You were probably.
That's what everybody was saying.
I saw John Chris a couple times and Theo Vaughn.
Just in the crowd.
yeah, but
Yeah.
they were a lot further back.
Well, they should have been.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not members.
Yeah.
Theo's never even done the Opry. I don't
Yeah.
think.
They didn't have their pictures anywhere. Trust me.
Yeah. Field of Dreams. That's another.
Yeah. it's
Field
a
of
great
Dreams
one.
was good.
You know how dumb I am? I was in Dubuque, Iowa, and I was like, oh, the Field of Dreams field is like 35 minutes from here. Let's go. So I drove out there, and then I got there and I realized this is the dead of winter. There's snow everywhere. There's no corn.
And you can't see the field.
It's just all snow. I thought the corn would be gone, but the stalk would still be there. Turns out the whole thing
Yeah,
dies.
they cut it down every year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
They
no
start over.
idea. And it kind of loses its magic when the corn's not there, dude.
Yeah.
It's just
Just
a
a field.
field
Yep.
covered in snow.
Yep.
So if you were going to do,
I felt like such an idiot, dude.
the Bad News Bears.
I did it. I said,
You
dude.
said, dude, I
said,
know. I was
dude.
going to
Ah,
point
there
it
you
out.
go.
You've
Yeah,
done
sorry,
it. You've done it a bunch. I was going to
Oh,
point it out.
Golly.
Yeah, Bad News Bears was good. Walter Matthau.
Yeah.
That was good.
So if you're going to do a Mount Rushmore of best baseball players of all time, who would you have on there?
Well, I'm
To
not
me-
going to go way back because I didn't see him play. I'm not going to do
Oh,
Ruth
tell them
Gehrig
the
and
story
all.
about your grandfather.
Oh, so my grandfather was a pitcher in Korea, and he was crazy great, and he played on this Japanese baseball team.
Yeah.
And so when the Yankees in the 20s won the World Series, they went to Japan, and there was an exhibition game. And my grandfather, who he couldn't communicate well, but he had Babe Ruth 0-2 in the third pitch, and I said, "What happened?" He goes, "Go." But then he struck him out the next 2 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. My grandfather,
Face Babe Ruth.
yeah,
That's so crazy.
his right hand on his finger was jacked like that permanently from taking a line drive on his
Yeah.
hand. But it was like,
Wow.
yeah, pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, that's fair. So you're only going to do players that you've grew up with or seen.
Yeah,
Not guys. That
Not guys in the past because then we're going to get stuck on.
Mhm.
I think baseball is harder than any other sport because football. You're talking about the Super Bowl era, which is, that's what you think of is modern football.
Right.
Basketball, it's been around maybe 75 years.
Mhm.
Modern baseball, We're pushing 150
Yeah, there's
years.
guys.
Yeah.
You know,
I
Cap
mean, you know.
Anson, all these guys from like the
Yeah,
turn
you
of
say
the
Honus
century.
Wagner. I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
Ty Cobb. or
Ty
whatever.
Cobb would be one.
We'll do just guys from our lifetime that we've.
Yeah, we have more to work with than you do, but
Yeah.
Yeah. So mine would be wow. Mount
they
Rushmore.
can't do steroids.
No, yeah,
Well,
you
well,
can't.
there took my top three.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll
No.
do. You me go.
Go.
Dale Murphy.
No, King Griffey Jr.
Okay.
I think he's got to be on there. Even if he did cheat, Barry Bonds was one of the best baseball players
He's probably the best ever.
ever.
Yeah.
Mike Schmidt,
Okay.
Yep.
probably best third baseman ever. And I'll throw a pitcher in there. Greg Maddux.
Greg Maddux.
Wow. Maddox,
Unbelievable.
definitely.
Yeah.
Mine would be Cal Ripken Jr.
Nice.
I'd have to go Joe Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Pete Rose. You putting him on there?
I'm not. I was going to do four Reds, but I'm not.
Okay.
Dave Winfield.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
Got drafted in all three sports.
Yep. And then my last one would be, wow, it's a tough one.
Johnny Bench.
That's another Red. I'm going to stay away from Red.
Yes.
I'll come back to you. On
Do a
that
pitcher.
Okay.
one. Do a pitcher.
Yeah.
Saberhagen.
Saberhagen.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Brett
that's a
Saberhagen.
good one. I'll do Barry Bonds, Griffey Jr. I'll do Chipper Jones, and I'm gonna put Shohei up there too. I know it's early.
No, but still, I'm with you.
Shohei Ohtani. If you're like not into baseball, you haven't watched it in a while, like now's a good time to get back. We're in the middle of like a once in a multi-generational player playing with the Dodgers, and Shohei Ohtani's unbelievable.
Yes.
And
you'll never see. You may never see this again.
I don't think you ever will. We never have before.
We haven't.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Nobody has.
No.
Yeah. So when I grew up, I think you kind of alluded to this. Growing up here in Middle Tennessee, it was the Braves, Reds, and Cardinals were the three closest teams.
Yeah.
More Braves than anybody because they're probably the closest. But my friends who lived in Clarksville, they would go see the Cardinals because that's an hour further that way, and they were all Cardinals fans. So there's a lot of Ozzie Smith fans growing up.
Yep.
Del Murphy.
Right.
Yeah, I could have put Ozzie on there.
Yeah.
I could have. He was unbelievable.
As far as like entertaining players, he's up there for sure.
Hey, I was telling you recently about Eric Davis. Remember him for the Reds?
Oh, yeah.
He was going to be the next big thing. Like,
but he got that injury.
Yeah.
That his kidneys or something, he got hit.
Mm-hmm.
Never was the same.
Yep. All right.
That was fun. I think if you're not into baseball, I'm sorry. We got into it, man. There's a lot of inside baseball.
Yes. This week, inside baseball.
Inside
great,
baseball.
dude.
But I had fun talking about it. I'm sorry if you didn't. But you got to get with it. Yeah,
dude.
That's on you. It's America's pastime. And just like baseball, maybe you're not in the mood to listen to this podcast now. Give it some time. Get on with your life. We'll be here when you're ready to come back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just like this is a 162 game season of a podcast, and we're in April, so we'll see you at the All-Star break. You know what I mean?
I don't know what any of that means.
I don't really know what I'm saying. I'm saying we talked about baseball. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but I liked it.
It's the last great cross section of America.
I was refraining from using that exact terminology,
Uses
but
that all the time.
yeah, I get romantic about it. There's a line in Moneyball. How can you not be romantic about baseball? I think about that
I agree.
quite a bit.
There's a line in The Sandlot. You hit like a girl. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
I wrote that.
All right.
That was great, dude. Henry, thank you so much for coming, man.
Hey, always happy to show
Let's
up.
promote our shows.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, this Saturday I'm at the Packard Playhouse in Columbia, Tennessee. April 11th and 12th, I'm back in Detroit House of Comedy. April 26th, I'm in West Bend, Wisconsin at the Bend Theater. I'm a theater act now, Henry.
I know you are.
So come see me in April at one of those locations.
I'm very fortunate. This month, I have several shows, but they're already sold out, so I'm not worried about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
love
kidding.
it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So we're going to go.
Yeah, pull up the Henry Cho tour there.
I'm in Huntsville this weekend, and then I'm in Bartlett, and then, slide that down.
Yeah. Good tour dates here. Huntsville.
There we go.
Man, you are. Tell you what,
Pensacola.
kids out of the house, you've been after it.
That's
huh,
right,
Henry?
man. Yeah. So Pensacola, that one's got some tickets left. Let's get to April 24th. Added the show in Hattiesburg, so jump on that. Here's where I need you: Concord, New Hampshire, and Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and Fort Wayne, Indiana. Jump on those. And then I'm going to the West Coast. Got Boise and Portland. We had a show in Portland, had a show in Boise. And then Denver, jump on that.
That's awesome, man. The Wilbur in Boston.
Yeah. So,
Dude.
hey, the Boston, New Haven, and D.C., get on there because those shows have plenty of seats left.
Okay.
Fort Wayne, Indiana, baseball reference, Aaron's glove. Wasn't that where it was found?
That's where it was found.
Steve
Oh,
Byrne.
that's right.
That's where Steve Byrne found my childhood baseball
I
glove.
remember you told me
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Here it is. Baseball bringing us together.
That's
Yep.
right.
That's what it's all about. I want to plug one show and one show only. May 31st, South Bend, Indiana. I'm headlining in South Bend for the first time ever. So that's a big show for me. The Stock Room East is the name of the venue. May 31st in South Bend, Indiana. Come on out. Go Irish.
Cool.
All right, Henry, thanks for doing us a favor and
Yeah.
hopping in here
Yeah,
last
this was
minute,
great.
Always happy to come hang
filling
with
in
you
for
guys.
two guys. Appreciate it.
It was hard. It's really hard. Those are two big guys. But I can talk. So, and I got a couple
can.
stories.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
you can.
All right. Signing out. Let's go. Goodbye, folks. We did it. None of it's lost on us. We love you. And have a pleasant evening.
Nateland is produced by Nateland Productions and by me, Nate Bargatze, and my wife Laura on the Audio Boom platform. Recording and editing for the show is done by Genovations Media. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to catch us next week on the Nateland Podcast.